Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And I am quite tired. Last night we played the SAO variant showdown beta for a long time until like 1:30 in the morning for me. And yeah, overall thoughts and impressions are, pretty good. There are a few hiccups here and there, and a few things that I would like to see changed, but it is just a beta. But that is not the focus of today's video, because when I woke up, I had a nice little ping in my Discord, because there is some news on the Twitter for slime. And that news is that we're getting the next Awakening Trials survey. And as you can see, this is for space units. Space units. Alright, so the way the Awakening Trials always go is that for the next meta, they give you a unit, a 4-star unit, that you can choose from, that you can get up to a 5-star. That way it will help you in the conquest battle where you're going to use said unit. With these being space units, normally you would take space units against the Wind Conquest, so the Sky Dragon, which means that the next meta is going to be Wind, because you're going to take a space unit into this Wind Sky Dragon event so you can farm up the cores for Wind units. So this goes against everything that I was going to lead into, thinking that next month being, the high point of summer, that we were going to get a water meta and a whole bunch of bikini waifus, and now we're getting the Wind meta, and honestly, I'm okay with it, because the Wind meta was our second meta ever, and it has very much fallen out of grace. The power creep for Valentine was extraordinary, and then it kind of stopped. Butler Veldora, the unit we shall not speak of, Wind Shuna, yeah, we use Wind Valentine a crap ton, but how often do you use all the other units? Barely ever, unless I'm trying to do some sick challenge. I don't look at them in my box. The only time I remember that they're a thing is when I pull their dupes. I'm like, oh yeah, I can use that, because I never use them, and I've never leveled them up. So, Wind is coming next. Please be good. With the recent trend of the new metas like Space, Earth, and now this current light meta, they are very good. And they do introduce a good amount of things into the game and new play styles. The light meta being very focused on quick, short bursts of normal attacks that you can then semi-nuke with Xion, but it's not like you're doing the space meta where you're waiting 8-9 turns, stacking up Veldora, and then nuking for 300,000 damage. So it's very, very different playstyles and thought processes. So I'm excited to see what this new Wind meta does. I have a feeling that they're probably going to run on oranges, since the old Wind team ran on greens, and, well, actually no, it probably runs on blues, now that I think about it. Yeah, because we're running on greens right now for light. The old Wind meta ran on greens, so you don't want to repeat that. So, I mean, could be orange, could be blue. We'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. But let's take a look at what these three characters do, and who you should probably pick as far as a general consensus is concerned, and for their usability, for newer players and people who are not familiar with using them, because I am not completely familiar with using them. So let's filter by space units, and we'll take a look. So first off, we have the Space Shuna. Magic damage dealer, uses a book. Single target space attack. Is she attack growth? I hit the wrong button. She is defensive type. Okay, so defensive single target. She is a double orb changer. Okay, well that's good. 2 oranges to 2 blues, and increases your protection gauge by 7%, probably up to 10% at level 10. And her second skill recovers all allies from poison, which, actually, that could be kind of useful in the Sky Dragon where he poisons you turn 1. So recovering from poison is pretty good. Poison evasion rate up to 10%. That's not as good. That's as good as you dodging stuns or dodging binds, and if you try to do any of that in the last Jubilee, you know what pain is. So, recovering, like cleansing poison, good. Dodging poison, meh. Her trait, when you unleash a 4-combo attack with greens, increases own guard rate by 6% for the next turn. Okay, well, technically, yeah, you could run like Cabby in the Wind Space team and run on greens, that's fine. But guard rate, like there's no space protector that gives guard. Like Milim sub-leads space and gives you guard, but I'm not running Water Milim Protector in Sky Dragon. We're running Cabby. Like, we're running Cabby. And if you don't have Cabby, you're going to use Hakuro. Okay, so she is a solid unit, especially for Conquest. You know, double orb change, but she's, again, running on greens, and she changes to blues, so a whole lot of sense being made there. Let's move on to Hakuro. Space Hakuro is a balance type physical using a katana, and also single target. Okay, so 2 single targets now. Has a double orb change from blue to green. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. Increases green gauge by 7%. Okay, and his second skill is decreases a single target's guard power by 14%. So when they do guard, you will do 14% extra damage. You know, it's still going to be a damage reduction because guard is up, but you'll do a little bit more damage. I don't really find this skill very useful. The double orb change can always be useful, though. You know, when we're running Jubilee strats and you're like, who changes this to that? And it's like, well, there's a few units that I don't know of. I just know of the main ones that I use. But there are other options now that you can take advantage of if you just look a little bit, and if I remember. And his trait is when you have 50% or lower HP, increases his own crit damage by 8% at the start of turn. Well, I mean, say you're going into EX3 Space Tempered Edge, and you put a level 100, quote-unquote, level 100 Hakuro underneath Milim, and you pop the crit damage boost from Carrion, and you pop the guaranteed crit from the hero. I mean, you will do then another 8% crit damage if you're lower than 50% HP, which it's very possible that you could be, because that EX3 Tempered Edge Milim hits pretty hard. That is a strategy you could use. That's not a terrible trait, especially when you're thinking about the team you're going to use it on. Okay, so good skill, meh skill, decent trait. Alright, let's move on to the third unit, which is the Xion, which I believe is 6-star for me, so I'm going the wrong direction. Yep, there she is. Okay. She is a physical attack growth type. And are you a 3-star? I can't even check. Oh well. Again, hitting the wrong button. Okay. So she is an AoE. Alright, so we have 2 single targets and an AoE. Decreases all targets' defense by, I'm gonna guess, 30%? 30%. Okay, I mean, that's what Hakuro does. That's what Wind Hakuro does, is defense down by 30%. But, no, actually, it's 40%? And a 30% crit chance. It might be that. Oh, either way. Defense down can be good in certain scenarios. Second skill is guard penetration by 64%, and that goes all the way up to 70? Yeah. Guard penetration. So, Hakuro has lowering guard power. Xion has guard penetration. Okay. And the trait, a 4 combo of greens increases own pierce power by 6% for the next turn. Okay, that's kind of like a mini Daggerel trait, because Daggerel does, when you unleash a 6 combo of greens, you increase your own pierce power by 10%, up to 15 at 6-star, which the Xion is at 6-star. Okay, well, there's not really anybody giving you pierce on the Wind team, so it's kind of not terribly useful. Guard penetration, defense down, so she is a huge debuffer. Oh, it increases her own guard penetration. Oh, that makes it worse. Sorry, it's a 15-point skill. Alright, I definitely would not choose Xion for the Awakening Trials. Honestly, I would probably, if we're talking like new players and you're having trouble beating Sky Dragon, I would think that actually Shuna would be your best bet because of her skill set. You know, orb changing and then cleansing the poison off of you, which is a big factor of how much damage you take in that Sky Dragon Conquest, especially EX. I believe that this skill set is going to benefit you the most, not the trait, but the skill set itself. You don't really have to worry about traits on the 4 stars. Hakuro is okay. Just okay. Like, he's got an orb change, and then guard power, though, is not really something I would consider great. The Sky Dragon does guard for a little bit, but I would consider Shuna's kit to be better suited for the Sky Dragon. So, that's it for this video, guys. Space Awakening Trials is coming. Next meta in July will be focused on wind units. I'm fairly excited for what their kits are going to be. Maybe they will actually be bikini waifus, and it'll just be wind, and they're saving water for something else, because water was semi-recent. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments below about the upcoming wind meta, what you want them to do, and then what character you are going to personally choose for this Awakening Trials. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.